How are you doing, me turkey dinosaurs? It's been a while. Is it just me, or every time I work on this nugget right here, the daily driver gets jealous and decides to brake? In this case, at least two of the ABS sensors shat themselves. Yep. Front one had completely sheared off before I got to it. I just want to make that clear. It was not me that sheared it off, as you'll see in the video. Rear one, I think, had failed because the back brakes had been sticking a little bit on the driver's side, and I think the excess heat that was generated from that probably crapped it out. It's also really smoky in here. The kiln is on and is in full burnout state, so you know, yeah, at least it's warm-ish. It is worth mentioning the Service ESC fault can mean other things. It's kind of a generic one, so unless you've got a really good testing thing, then get checked out at the garage if you're not confident in what you're doing. Could be battery, could be coil pack, plugs, anything like that. So you could end up chasing your tail quite a lot. I did test those because I don't have a very good OBD2 reader. Let's get to it. So, now that we've got the disc off and everything, you can see the ABS sensor here. This is the magnetic ring that it picks up off, which looks okay. There's a couple of tiny little bits of scuff marks, but they should be okay. So I'm guessing the ABS sensor itself's gone, which means that we need to take this number 5 Allen wrench bolt thing out. I never know the names for these, because that's your ABS sensor there. But in true fashion, that has started to round out. So that's never going to come off, and I dare not heat it because it'll just melt all this plastic and make it harder to get to. So what we're actually going to do is the long way around, and we're going to take the entire hub off, which is these 4 bolts in here. Yeah, so the hub bolts are some weird torque thing that I don't have a socket for. 15mm fits on, but yeah, I don't want to risk it because they are torqued to high heaven. But as you can possibly see, the ABS sensor bolt is starting around quite badly, and I don't want to keep going at it because that's just going to make my life hell. So I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm just going to whack a load of heat on it, melt the plastic, and try and loosen it while it's still melting. And that should hopefully get it out, maybe, or just make my life hell. One of the two. We're about to find out. Let's go. So, update time. I took the blowtorch to it, melted out all of the old ABS sensor, and it still wouldn't shift. So I took a chisel to it, braid a load of tabs onto the outside, and managed to get an 11mm socket over, and now it's turning. Well, I mean, just as easy as that. Made my life a living hell, but it's out. So yeah, just braid a star pattern into the bolt, which pushes. So do that with a chisel. Braid star pattern in with a chisel. That pushes out those edges. That means you can get a socket over it. I managed to get an 11mm over. and just very gently eased it round. Couldn't film it because obviously I needed both hands and kind of get the camera in, but it came out eventually. Just be careful, plenty of heat just to free it up in the hole. But it's just daily driver life. Everything gets crusty, you know, it's pointless. So yeah, that'll get used again, you know. Just pop that back in, good as new. So coffee time, and I'm fitting the new one. So the plug for the ABS sensor sits behind this. There's a plastic nut goes on here. You can get that off with a pair of pliers or a socket, whatever. It just helps you pull this forward a bit, gain access to that. It's secured onto the inner wing with this clip here. So I actually sort of pulled that off just so I could drop it down, disconnect it, because it sits like up here somewhere. Now the new one doesn't come with this clip, so to remove it, if you look on the top here, got this little sort of plastic push tab. So basically you just got to push that central tab to the side, and this should slide up out the way. But again, I need both hands, so can't do it on camera. So when you get to this stage, it'll be tight to fit in there, so just give it a tap from the back of it. So what I'm going to do is just bring a socket through here, like a socket extension rather, through here, and then just gently tap it into position. Alright, so just be gentle with it. So once we've got the disc off, the ABS sensor sits in there like that. So you need a number 5 hex set or torque screw, whatever the hell those bits are, and then that will come out. However, you'll see that mine has snapped off in the bloody thing. So we need to take the strut off, which is going to be these 2 bolts here. So you need to hold them and then undo. Spray them with a bit of lube or penetrating fluid if you've never had them up before, because they will be bloody tight. I'm hoping we don't need to split the ball joint. I do have ball joint splitters, so it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, hopefully not that. So we'll try just doing it with these, pulling it off. We'll need to get the hub, the castle nut rather, off, so that we can part it. So let's see how that goes. Just a note, when you're removing the castle nut, you'll see that it's sort of braid into those. That's like a locking position, so you'll have to get a screwdriver under there and wedge it up, or a chisel or whatever. Sometimes it's just as easy to break that out. You should replace the castle nut anyway. Always use a new castle nut. I've got a spare, so that's what I might do. Sneaky boy, forgot about you. You're next. 16mm. Those are 19. 36mm for the castle nut. So it turns out, probably get away without undoing that one, in all fairness. Just push the drive shaft through from this side. Just wangle it until she comes free. Just rest it up, but make sure you keep the splines clean. Make sure they're greased up a bit. But dirt will instantly stick in them, so just give them a check over before you put anything back together. So that is usually all one piece connected to the back here, but for some reason it's sheared off and it feels pretty stuck, so I'm probably just going to brace from this side and drive it through, and that's just going to have to be the way it happens. Just be careful of this surface here. This is your magnetic ring on the back of the wheel bearing, which you can see has got a bit of crap on it anyway, so that needs clean. And basically what it does is the ABS sensor reads this magnetic ring, and that's your wheel speed, that's ABS, that's everything. So if this goes bad, it's not going to read the wheel speed. So if you're getting a constant ECS on, it probably means one of the ABS sensors has gone bad. Hopefully not snapped like this, but hey ho, let's get to it. She's out. Right, put the new one in. Job's a good one. Make sure you follow your correct cable route. So I haven't pushed this into the holder yet because I want to wait until I get all this bolted up, but I'm actually going to test to make sure the sensor works first. So you go up and over, so over the top of this, don't get snagged up below or behind, up and over, and then we will eventually fix into here once we've got bolted back up, and then we go back to there, and then comes round behind into that, and then comes up and connects up into this box here, into this junction, and this should just pull off. There we go. So it's just a clip that goes into the inner wing, so we just pull that off there and it unclips here. And I think I'm going to need two hands because it looks like I need to push this in to unclip. So the new sensor didn't come with the clip that goes into the inner wing, so to remove that, you'll see this little slide lock here. If you push that, imagine that's on, if you push it towards the front of the car, so that way, then that should slide out. So yeah, here we are, it's out on the road. When I finished replacing all of the ABS sensors, the Service ESC or whatever the frig thing it was saying didn't actually go off. So what I actually had to do was bring it out and do an emergency stop. That reset everything and now it's fine. No idea. Mystery, but at least it's working, so I'm happy. But basically the reason I thought to do that was I read on a forum, you know, buried in years and years ago worth of posts, that someone had done exactly the same, and resetting it by disconnecting the battery didn't work, so they actually needed to bring it out, do an emergency stop to kick in the ABS, and then it reset it. So I didn't, I don't do electrics, so important thing is it's working for now. Until next time, until something else breaks, like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.